When the sun goes down, the stars come out. From deep in the heart of Texas, it's the Star at Night. Coming to you from the Cowboys facility at the Star in Frisco. With your hosts, Kelsey Charles and David Hellman.
Hey there, sports fans, and welcome to another episode of The Star at Night. I am frumpy lumberjack Dave Hellman. Over there with me is, boyfriend shirt Kelsey Charles joining us today.
The boyfriend that I don't have, but sure.
Is it like laundry day? It's laundry day for me. I don't know. I fell behind.
This is actually a brand new shirt that I literally got in the mail like no less than 2 hours ago, but I'm glad you like it.
It's super cute. All right, nobody cares about what we dressed up like. We're here to talk Cowboys. Kelso, it's literally like it's the deadest time of the year. Rookie minicamp's over. OTAs haven't even started. By the way, don't know what they're going to look like, but what I'm doing in my spare time while I still can right now is I'm already looking ahead to training camp. I actually have spent a lot of my week working on our training camp preview, getting my ducks in a row. So I thought this would be a worthwhile time with off-season practices ramping up here over the next couple weeks to kind of dive in to some of the forgotten storylines around this team. I know that, that's kind of impossible when you talk about the Cowboys 365 days a year. But
have you actually forgotten any of these? But yes, maybe lesser known or discussed recently.
Yes, exactly. That's what we're going to do today. So it's something I've been thinking about a lot this week. So I want to know about a storyline for this team that worries you, that you feel like nobody's talking about right now.
I mean, again, as you said it best, we talk about this team every single day. So we haven't talked about it for 14 days. I feel like that's lesser known at this point. But I personally, Dave, am concerned about the tackle position still. Our O-line, last year was brutal. How many different rotations did we go through? We talked about the Terrence Steele experiment, and I know he's doing a lot of work this offseason and really trying to improve. I think he's got some good upside. But still, nonetheless, having to kick my all-pro, Pro Bowl guard out to tackle that he hasn't played since college. I'm not trying to do that again. And also, knowing that my Pro Bowl left tackle, he really has, quite frankly, struggled to stay on the field. And I hate that for him because he's incredible. But when you pass up an opportunity at a solid addition to that O-line in Slater, I can't help but be a little concerned. The one thing that I do know is that you've got a guy in the door in Josh Ball, and I think we're hearing a lot of reports about the fact that we know there was some off-the-field stuff that he's been dealing with or he had dealt with in the past, and that could have been a reason why his draft stock fell. So maybe there's a little bit more to the story than we know about what he can bring to this team on the field. So we can take some solace in that. So I personally, though, am not fully settled in the lineup that we have starting day one. I just want to feel a little bit better about if I need to make some adjustments, some rotations, that I'm not having to just throw this crazy hodgepodge onto the field and just hope it works. Because I just love that. And I want to feel good about the future. And I have become a spoiled Cowboys fan where now I just assume that my O-line is going to be wonderful. And I need to feel good about that again. So yeah, Dave, that's what I'm feeling most uneasy about right now as of late.
So I'm close. I'm there with you, but I think you're worried about the wrong position. Honestly, I feel pretty good about tackle. I'm very confident Tyron Smith and Lyle Collins will be fine. You added Josh Ball. Ty Nsekhe's been in the NFL for a long time. And oh, by the way, Terrence Steele and Brandon Knight both started at tackle for you. Obviously, you don't want to go that far down the depth chart, but that's a lot of names. But check this out. And this is actually why I wanted to talk about this on the show. Does this team have another center besides Tyler Biadasz? Besides the guy who only started 4 games as a rookie last year, the Cowboys didn't bring back Joe Looney. Connor McGovern has played center during his career. I guess he could do that, but he's never done it in the NFL. And so I wonder, are the Cowboys just handing the keys to Tyler Biadasz? Which that's awesome if so. He won the Remington Award at Wisconsin. He's a heck of a player. He showed promise last year, but like, doesn't that concern you?
Wasn't there a point in time where we were talking about how maybe Connor Williams could make a rotation in at that position?
Connor as well.
That was something last year.
A lot of guys, we're just saying a lot of names of guys that have never played center in the NFL. That's all. Like, where's Joe? Where's Joe? Why didn't he come back? I don't know. It gives me pause.
I would feel that too, especially again. I mean, you talk about that line, and continuity is huge. If I am going to hand the keys to someone, it's going to be the guy from Wisconsin. So I'm going to give him a little more credence than maybe just, some yahoo off the streets. Either way, though, like you said, hey, we don't know who they were going to try and bring in. I don't know.
I really just know. I've never heard it pronounced Yahoo in my entire life. It's Yahoo where I come from. I've never once heard. I'm sorry, not to get you off track. Go ahead.
We don't know where I'm from, so this tracks. Anyways, but I feel like that's a great point, Dave. I mean, you have to make sure that line is intact. It really is about having the right guys in the right positions. And like you said it best, handing the keys to someone, but let's make sure they can drive the car first, because if you've never driven stick before, it might be a bit of an issue. So yeah, I can't do it either. Sorry, Dad.
Great. It's a wonderful analogy right there. Yeah. Well, hopefully Tyler Biotish knows how to drive stick, I guess is my point.
All right. So let me ask you this then. How about, instead of something that's worrying you, what about what is exciting you that maybe people aren't talking about as much?
Okay. I'm going to step out on a limb here. I'll be like, can you tell I've been thinking about this all week? I'm just burning with things that I want to talk about. Tristan Hill and Neville Gallimore, right? Oh. Tristan Hill got so much crap for not basically being ready as a rookie, and that's fine. He was a second-round pick. You would have liked to have seen more. But he looked pretty good in the 5 games that he actually played in before he tore his ACL, which, by the way, happened on the same day that Dak Prescott got hurt. So, like, nobody even cared. They were like, whatever, Tristan, you're small potatoes compared to Dak. He's on his way back from an ACL. And then Neville Gallimore really came on like gangbusters in the second half of last year. Started 9 games, all of them in the second half of the season. 4 tackles for loss, 28 tackles, was just a steady presence in that defensive tackle spot. And look, I know, I'm not trying to put them in the Pro Bowl, but like those 2 guys are just tapping into their talents. And that's really exciting. If even one of them does it, I'm excited. I'm excited about the defensive tackle spot, especially when you talk about adding Osa Odigizua and maybe Brent Urban to that group as well. I'm a little juiced about the defensive tackle spot. Maybe that's May. It's May optimism is what that is.
So what you're saying is you're going to go out and buy Neville Gallimore's rookie card, is what I just heard you tell me.
I know some people that have. Let's just put it that way. Buying low. On the GOAT. Neville G. Let's go.
All right. So final question for you then. In terms of pressure, because again, we know that we can only go up from here, to put it nicely, in terms of performance for this Cowboys team. Who has more pressure though? Are we talking offensively, Kellen Moore, or Dan Quinn in the defense to show up and perform this upcoming season?
I hope Dan Quinn doesn't feel any pressure. Like what? Like he's like, oh, like I'm gonna be worse than what happened here last year. Like, I doubt it. And he's got like this brand new draft class, and literally all anybody's asking him to be is competent. Like they're just like, Dan, can we get mediocre? Because we'll love you if we can. Whereas I think there's a lot of pressure on Kellen Moore. Obviously, there's a lot of pressure on Dak Prescott and the offensive line and Ezekiel Elliott. That all ties in together. This team's only going to be as good as its offense. And so there's a ton of pressure on Kellen Moore to make sure that offense is as good as possible. I want just Dan Quinn, I just let her rip, baby. Just go get out there and get after it. But yeah, Kellen Moore, this offense needs to be elite if the Cowboys are going to be good.
Well, I'm actually going to flip gears and say that I do think Dan Quinn has a lot of pressure on him, because they were quite literally the Achilles heel of this team last year. It was disgusting, some of the performances or lack thereof that I saw. And I just feel like there's a lot of personalities on this defense. There's a lot of potential. There's a lot of upside. But he's got a lot of question marks, a lot of unknowns, a lot of guys that are in the developmental stages, a lot of pieces that he has to figure out how they go together. You've got this linebacker core who, who's going to play where, and you've got enough people who could already be playing on starting lineup before we went into the draft, let alone now we have to add Micah Parsons to the mix. So I definitely think that Dan Quinn not only has pressure, but he's putting pressure on himself, especially in light of just how everything went down last year. You heard him talk about when he came into the building, how it just was rough for him. And so, hey, there's my earbud. Don't mind that.
Just
keep that
keep
in.
It rolling. Keep it rolling.
But I really do. I feel like it's going to be a lot of pressure on him to show up and perform. Everyone is not having another repeat of last year, and it's on Dan Quinn to make sure that does not happen again.
I mean, you're not wrong, but the expectations are so much smaller. That's my only point. But hey, all right. Look, I'm ready to go to training camp. Hopefully somebody's going to tell me where I need to be sooner rather than later. But until then, in light of what's happening, maybe you've noticed the NBA playoffs have changed up their format. We're nothing if not relevant. We're millennials, damn it. We're going to find a way to tie that into the NFL right after this break.
Why not? All right, Dave. So the NBA is having play-in games this year to get into the playoffs. And if you were lucky enough or unlucky enough to subject yourself to some of those games like we did this week, I'm going with unlucky because the Charlotte game was miserable. Anyways, though, it got me thinking, and I just had to ask because I know the NFL added another 7th team to the mix last year, but what are your thoughts on any additional rule changes to the playoff setting in the NFL? Thoughts?
Okay. I got some thoughts for you, Kelsey Chuck. I got a great thought, which honestly,
oh no.
The NFL playoffs are like the most perfect thing in the world. They didn't need to add the 7th team. They were always going to because money, and that's fine. I guess now I just have to remember the seed pairings. Like it used to just be so easy to say 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5, and 1 and 2 are off. It was the easiest thing in the world, and now I gotta sit there and be like, oh, okay, it's like 2. I think it's 2 versus 7, and 3 versus. Yeah, okay. Like I mean, it's fine. But here's the thing: don't tweak the NFL playoffs because I sat down just as excited as everybody else to watch Charlotte, Indiana, and I've never been more bored by a supposed playoff game. Even the Boston-Washington game wasn't even that good. I mean, Jason Tatum's awesome, but the game itself was not that entertaining. But what about this, Kels? And this is what got me thinking, because if you remember, we were sitting there thinking like, oh, right, these teams are trash. Maybe we shouldn't be watching them play. Like maybe we should just skip ahead to the playoffs. Well, if we're going to watch games between trash teams, what if we had a mini tournament for the number 1 pick in the draft? What if we took the 4 worst teams in the league and just had them play, or maybe even screw 4. What if we just take the eight worst teams in the league and you just do like a one-off tournament, like 1 versus 8, 2, or you can seed it however you want, 2 versus 7, 3, and then they advance and the winner is rewarded with the number 1 pick. Imagine if the worst teams in the league had to try to string together 3 wins and you could do it. Oh my God. Like, honestly, we need to clip this off and send it to the league office. We could have, the games could happen during the week, during the playoffs. So like the playoffs are on Saturday and Sunday and then the dumpster fire bowl happens on Wednesday and Thursday. This is an amazing idea. And then at the end of it, it's like, congratulations, you won, and you get to draft Trevor Lawrence. Imagine if the Jaguars went 1-15 and then lost out on Trevor Lawrence to, like, you know, a 4-12 team. Like, you better bring it. You better bring it.
Nobody
Nobody
gets entertaining.
Oh man, clip this out.
What if
We're
they don't
sending
have
it
a
to the
coach?
league office.
Then what? What if they don't have a coach by this time? They just have to figure it out?
Get yourself a hell of an interim. Just get the best interim coach possible. Like, this is a great idea, honestly.
You might be a little bit evil. I'm a little concerned about you, my friend, and your well-being after said suggestion, but I don't hate it.
It'll get rid of tanking forever, because who's gonna go 1-15 just to then not even get the number 1 pick? Forget that. We're in
Doug
it to
Peterson,
win it.
this is for you. This is for you, Dougie boy. Dougie.
Yeah, sorry, Eagles. Oh,
Eagles for never.
I need this to happen so badly.
You know what, Caden? Let's go ahead and clip this off. This is the best idea we've ever had yet. Straight pinky in the brain. We're gonna take over the world. Really excited for us on that, guys. Thanks so much for joining us and our brilliance. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We understand this is the greatest show of all time with the greatest suggestions, the greatest content. So we expect to see you back next week. But until
greatest
then,
shirts.
producer
Great
Caden,
shirts too.
the
Those are
actual
good
greatest shirt. Thank you. I like my shirt. Please tell me that you like my shirt. It's brand new, literally.
I like your shirt a
David
lot.
Hellman, and I would make fun of your shirt, but I got it for you for your birthday, so I'm not going to make fun of it. Anyways, it's a lose-lose for me. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in.